Okay. Thank you very much all for coming once again. On behalf of Uganda Revenue Authority, on behalf of myself, on behalf of yourself, and on behalf of Uganda, I all welcome you to this engagement. This is what we call a tax baraza for us. Because we don't have a lot of time to introduce ourselves officially. My name is Andrew Kenya. Now, at least you introduce yourself to your next neighbor if you don't know them. Hey. Just introduce the person you're seated on the right and on the left. Now, for you, my friend, you only have a chair this side and a chair this side. Yeah? Yeah. So take the opportunity to introduce yourself to someone who doesn't know you. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I am privileged to serve at Uganda Revenue Authority under the Tax Education Division. We sit in Nakawa. Now we are here. Now we are seated here in Mpondwe. I came along with a team that we work with. I have Jackie here who is taking the diagrams. KK as well. You wave KK. People are wondering who is called KK. And then I have Winnie. And we also have other colleagues that we work with in Uganda Revenue Authority. You will get to know them. We have a team from Port Portal, domestic taxes, which has joined us, and the team that you always know here.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to Mpondwe OSBP. This is your home. Kwez Ronald Mugisa is my name. By God's grace, I'm the head station of Mpondwe. I would like to thank you for honoring our invitation and our sincere apologies because we intended to have this baraza on a Saturday. But on a Wednesday, I also communicated that we had postponed it to today. But still, you've been able to come and be with us. I really thank you so much. And the essence of the baraza is you people to open up. It's a discussion. We're supposed to know what hurts you, what pains you, and we get. So be free, be open, talk whatever you want to talk, and we'll give you answers. I took an initiative to invite our colleagues in domestic taxes because we've been getting issues of income tax. I'm very sure we'll give him a few minutes to highlight what it is and educate you why they're asking you for income tax, not only for your shops, but even for your vehicles, those who have trucks that go to Congo. We have the expert in the house. He will give us all the information that we might require. I also had invited immigration. I'm very sure he will be joining us. If you have any challenges with crossing borders, he will also highlight, or when you ask, he will give us the answers. I'm also around to answer all custom-related questions. I will be oscillating between the two rooms because we have another engagement. You must have seen military students. There were soldiers, but students, they are learning, they are using a different room. So I'll be interchanging with the regional manager. When his time comes, I run, I sit in, then he comes here. But be free, Godwin is around. He knows all issues to do with customs. Before I leave, I have some word of advice to our clearing agents, especially those dealing in exports. There is an issue of abuse of a regime called ES1. Please, Katika, notify your team. It is a serious offense, and I do not want our people to be victims of the same. Godwin will highlight the thresholds for it. But I welcome you to this boardroom. I welcome you to the OSBP, and I ask you to kindly open up. Let's exchange. Let's share ideas. I know some of you would say Kwez overcharges, but this is the time to tell me how I overcharge, and then I explain. So that we go and educate our colleagues who have not been able to come. We need to share and work freely. I have a huge target of 8.6 billions this financial year, and all my hopes are in you. And I'm very sure you'll make this come to pass, and 30th June 2025, we'll all be celebrating having hit the target. With those few words, let us start the discussions and we move on. We started a little bit late because we were hindered by rain. Rain is a very good thing, and other engagements that came in unexpectedly. With those words, I wish you all the best in the discussion. May God bless you. Thank you so much.
Now that we know we are officially allowed to go ahead with this engagement from the station head, I am going to begin on the positive note. What we are going to do is we are going to have all what we have to say from the URA side. After we hear from the URA side, then we will fully back on hearing from your ideas and your presenters.
I was expecting to have no space for our stakeholders, but maybe the weather conditions and so forth, but they are still very welcome. I think I've missed 1 or 2 sessions, the introductions and those communications that come in prior to us coming in. But nevertheless, I'm here to further interact with you. Maybe I'll pick on the rest. I was in another engagement where we have part of our stakeholders having a tour at our station. So I think you saw them in the morning as you walked in. So we have 2 programs running concurrently, but nevertheless, I'm here. To begin with, I am Joel Kuka Mudumi, your current manager, Western Region. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to today's Tax Baraza, and also for me to get an opportunity to interact and get to know you closely. Such times are very meaningful for us, especially when it comes to us discussing the business that makes us co-opt or coexist in the environment that we operate in. Well, that section that I've been given is one of those that is very tricky, because as a keynote speaker, you don't know which areas to tackle and which ones to leave out. Because if I was to speak to you, I have a broad spectrum of topics that I can talk to you about, and we can go the whole day and perhaps even the entire night and so forth. But since they've scaled it down to enforcement operations and the effects of smuggling, well, that is very simple for me. But before I go there, do we have clearing agents in the house? Okay, back to where I was. Habari zenyu? Mnaelewana? Nitajaribu, lakini nikishindwa nitaongea Kiingereza. Si ndio? Nimeshukuru kuwaona leo, and I wanted to know how many of you are clearing agents. So over 90% are people who can speak English, because you're clearing using English. Yeah? Especially the documents and the system. Yeah? So you are interacting with the touch point, isn't it? The touch point you're writing in English. Yeah? So it is your duty and our duty to make sure that all our stakeholders, especially the traders, get to understand the documents that we interact with. Yeah? Because if they don't understand the documents that we interact with, I'm talking about customs documents, customs processes. What are they supposed to do? From here to here, this to this, which office do I go to? It means that then we are not attracting people to do business with us. Right? the good news is we are here 24/7 to give you an excellent service so that you are able to grow your business as we also grow the tax base. Okay. Away from that, we have rolled out the automation of many of our processes so that we are able to serve you and then also be able to meet the growing needs in the communities. Yeah, why do I say that? That there are some areas that are gray. For instance, people who are paying us, this one goes to the agents, people who are recycling road user charges, receipts, okay? We are automating it so that at a click of it, you cannot regenerate, you cannot reuse that. So when you are part of that fraud whereby you perhaps, you know, what I realize with the business community is people who are involved with the non-adherence are the people who perhaps take away all the business from others. So we want to make sure that at least we create equal opportunities by automating most of our systems to be able to curb those areas of non-compliance, especially abuse of road user charges is top among those ones, and then the aspect of abuse of customs business processes. Okay, and to that effect, I want to promise you or give you a pledge that we have a committed team. We have the entire new team now in Mpondwe, which is very committed, very knowledgeable, highly skilled, and have or possess the knowledge that you require to be able to do your work. I want to commit myself that I'm on ground. I may not be at Mpondwe all the time, but my phone is on 24/7, okay? That commitment is to ensure that I work closely with you on my goal. And the goal which I already told you of collecting over 8.6 billion. I had already reiterated that July, we are doing well. August, we are doing well. And I want to humbly request each and every one of you to go outside your normal norm and ensure that we grow this revenue together.
A round of applause for the regional manager, Mr. Joel. Kakati, now, my friend, how do they say clap for you in Konjo? Thank you. You can take. Thank you very much. Like it has already been said, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to take the privilege as the MC, who is me not to take it, to tell you that the president of the district has arrived. We are glad to have you, sir. And he has already told us, you know, it is not easy being an RDC. That is why not all of us are. It requires commitment, and you have a lot of things to do. Basing on that, the RDC has informed us that he's going to head somewhere shortly for other engagements. So, sir, we already began in your absence, and we did the national anthems, the East African anthem, and the Zulu anthem.
So you came in late. I do not know how your protocol is organized. So therefore, allow me not to go into matters of protocol. But also, before you get to your English, allow me to speak the local first. Hanongas in the business community. In the Lieutenant Mate, Iseva Chira Magwar. Deputy RDC, Owe Kasese, Owe Kasamalera, Ebitsoka Veno. nasire nomushakuru Tien Tsongo oweni assistant RDC Kasese. Etimu yetu yabiryongerwa buli atwabya basatu basa hati atule munana. So okwa senior RDC wa Rusimbi netwe babere nja tunamubengwa kwa maraso engara bandi batano nomuchana byambo urban baba mata reportinga owa katano shaliasa. I know that's not the message you like to hear. No. Wamasomane Bible, tax collectors were seen as sinners. Yeah? Abaso lesava musoro no mwa Biblia. Eva kaba samaranga nebahe. Ngababa singire ribi here. So even when Jesus Christ goes to a man called Zacchaeus' home, Abo mama bamuana he has gone to a home of what? Of a sinner. Why? Because if you are to do your work as tax collectors without favor, those who survive by unscrupulous means, you would have stepped on their feet. Na ribwa inyonga bashima habore korangana na URA. Erusolese emsolori tatabyaho. I have no salary. No, I have no salary if this people don't work. Echa Kabir. Ahashurahan is a very expensive place. Akashare mukakoleram kali expensive. I think 80 billion shillings is in Bakashare Kali. Essentially, second tax collection.
Please welcome the mayor to address us. Another clap for the police. Another one. You all voted.
I take this honor to welcome all of you to Mpondwe, Rubiriha Town Council in your different capacities. And I thank you, URA officials, for organizing this baraza that is coming to address and give an opportunity of the business community to share with you. We really need this so that our people are up to date and knowing what's happening with taxes and all that is needed. So it's my request as a leader that whenever you come, involve the leadership in whatever you are doing after taking us through what you are going to do for our people to comply. People are very ready to comply if they understand. But otherwise, everyone doesn't accept very fast to pay a tax to part with the money that is supposed to support him. I thank you for today. Continue with that one. We are ready to work with you and to sensitize, because also another issue is that as you tax, also as the local government, we are also taxing these people. We are levying our taxes. So they complain, URA has come, you are also coming. So when we are together, we are able to explain what is for URA and what is for the local council, because it is all needed, and to make people understand that they are not the ones paying. There is an interest somewhere that comes in, a profit that is being passed to government, being received from that person. Before I also got a clear explanation from Julius, I was complaining about pay, getting it from staff, paying it to URA. So I would say now it's the organization that is meeting the money. Kumbi, it was the organization collecting for government from those people to government. You collect from them that percentage and pass it. It is being paid by staff. So after that, then we are complying and meeting what is needed. We thank you and wish you a safe stay in Mpondwe, as I also request my people after here to pass over information to the rest of the members in Mpondwe. Thank you.
Now I guess by the powers vested in me, I appointed him the co-MC of the event, and the interpreter is going to come back, because I'm going to invite my colleague Godwin to talk briefly about cross-border trade. And when he finishes, we are going to invite one more speech from URA, from the domestic tax office, and then us will be done, and the rest of the time will be spent on listening to you and addressing your queries.
We are here. We are not going to take too much time. We had organized our project, but unfortunately, the intelligence team has taken it. So we are going to make this session a bit interactive. It is usual business that we do at the border, and then we shall react on how best we can improve certain processes. As customs officials, we are compelled to redefine our services to our key stakeholders, to educate, to look at the policy changes that happen, and then probably inform you, and then so that if you, the traders, get information, then our work this side becomes very easy. So the purpose of this is actually to have an interaction on the services we provide, on the new changes that have taken place in the policy, and then the procedures. We have two regimes, okay? Two main regimes, the export regimes and the other import regimes, okay? Now at the border, we all know that Mpondwe, we handle largely, this is a transit station. Largely transit what? Station, you all know. We are handling direct transits, or we are generating transits to elsewhere, or this can work also as for SCTs, because some of you don't know that we handle him through Katuna, because it is under SCT. Maria is here, the SIFA, whatever. So there are transits through transits to from other countries, and the ones we generate to other countries. Those are three categories of transit. Then we also have the export. The manager talked about the export, the issues in exports. We handle largely this border. When you look at William down here, when you look at the stores in Mpondwe town, we handle exports going to DRCs. So these exports may include, let's look at exports. We handle largely here, common is EX1. You know, issues to do with EX1 is that the importer has to claim his VAT. The person of DT is going to expand so much about this. There are issues involved with EX1s that you all know. Here is that EX1s, they no longer want us to generate EX1s. Why? Because the man is going to tell us about e-freeze. They're going to talk about e-invoices related to exports. So now, some of those questions, keep them, but I'm just taking you through. EX1, goods wholly produced in Uganda and are permanently being exported, in this case to DRC. Then we have got EX2s. The EX2s, you can talk of, say, an EX2 in this case would be like someone has, say you have a machine, or you have a motor vehicle, let's use a motor vehicle, and you have decided to take your motor vehicle, say, to do road construction, like you've seen the guys of, these guys, a dot service, thank you, dot services. So an EX2 can be generated, and you take a vehicle to work on for a specific period and be returned. Because upon return, we capture, in URA we capture an IM5. That one, it's another thing. So then, we have got also EX3s. EX3s, maybe in this can be two-way. Goods which already paid taxes and are in Uganda, and probably the Ugandan trader has failed to get market. He decides to take them to Congo. You should know that, also note that EX1s and EX3s, the importers can claim VAT. Okay? And then also, we have got a category called EX8s. Now, some of you have started seeing the export team in Kampala highlighting entries. Why? because now these are bonded warehouses. Most of those manufacturers or private bonded warehouses have goods. So the people are expected to come with EX entries and then generate a T1. There is a bond on such a consignment. Until it reaches here, then our role is just simply to validate the T1, and that person is expected to cross. That is for the case of EX8. Because on EX8, they no longer want us to, they are supposed to come under seal and e-seal. You're supposed to seal them, come under seal, and then we work on them like the way we do for transits. Then we have got the category that we call simplified regimes. The simplified regimes. To begin with, the most common one here is EX1, ES1, ES1. For ES1, a Congolese or a Ugandan or Katika here decides to buy certain goods, and he wants to like the way you see those mattresses on a tramping, and you want to take them to Congo. You are expected to capture an ES1. ES1 has a threshold. It shouldn't exceed $2,000 US. You know what happens with most of you. That one we are going to talk about it. ES1s, some of you get the whole of William Street on ES1. That's why Kampala is on our neck. Something about ES1. ES1 client is supposed to have a TIN. You're supposed to be TIN registered. Okay? That's how it differs from another one called SE1. SE1, we assume an importer has come to office. Now an SE1, we do it as a simplified export entry for people. Probably a passenger is passing with one bag or something. So in URA, you're supposed to come in there, we capture that. There you don't need a clearing agent. So an ES1 can be like for the case of now an import for PB4, passenger baggage for an import. So these are simple, and it's also supposed not to exceed 2,000 USD of value. Okay? Then we have got something we call, which does not apply here, but also under export, called F29. Now that is called free zone, the free zone industrialization. That one now, that applies to the government has those manufacturers who produce for exports only. That is the category. If actually they found out that you produce and sell locally, then they can fine you and pay a penalty. So the free zone manufacturers are here, produced in Uganda, and you're supposed to say export any other country. You enjoy a tax-free, you get a declaration. Then we have got a WT8. That is a warehousing transfer. We have got a C2. Those of you who are aware, it's called an intra-regional transfer. It comes, a C2 is just a manifest. An importer has paid from Rwanda, goods are meant to be for Uganda. When you reach Mirama Hills or Katuna, all you present is just like a release or a manifest. So that one is done for those clearing SCT declarations. Now we have what we call imports, homebound declarations. Here the most common one is IM4, you all know. You have gone to Congo and bought your cooking oil, and we feel it's a lot of, it exceeds the PB4 value of 2,000. So we advise you to capture your entry, and these entry are cleared centrally from DPC, Document Processing Center, Kampala. They will release, then we shall issue your goods to you. That one you know.
I'm not going to say a lot of words, because if you don't clap, he's your chairman after all. Those are the claps you want to give him. Let me invite the chairman of the business community in Mpondwe to come and give his remarks and begin off our interactive sessions with you. You are welcome, sir.
Community, we welcome you here in our town, and most especially for this arrangement As the business community, we appreciate the effort URA does in terms of educating us as business community. Sometimes it is not easy to pay tax, but with the information you bring to us, especially the agents who work as go in between the taxpayer and URA, it is very important. Most of the people we invited have not come in, I'm informed, because the weather was not favoring them. And you know, as business community, sometimes they are not easy people, but given what has been shown to us today, I would love that to remove it from now, this kind of setup. We make it kind of a public, like you make a general meeting, because for us, we can do the work as the business community. We inform more people. Like we can even go ahead and close more shops. Sat, because I think I will even repeat it in Lukonzo for the people to understand. This is more of a corporate setting. Our people here need more engagements. We teach them about, because sometimes you find these guys are in operations, they have closed shops, or even brought some assessments, and people are not aware. Some of us come into engagements and you're trying to settle issues. They are like cases. So I would love and maybe request the management that you come to the people, inform them, because people, Ugandans are good at paying taxes. But when you just bump into them without notifying them, it becomes a little bit difficult. Abandu tutishasuba mu abandu meka bunweria baka shasuru cha bandu be misolo, because injengalonga namba nabasha kuluba leba kalwe kasese omusha kuludunio lya tukatu namba nangano kosha street kwei eba nauta banda maduka abo bonde babere chengao obundi sahata bandikirikire erikanizia, especially kwa sha assessment ya shaba kaba hanga bandoba maduka neringa namusabenda hata shaba nikisha meeting eshana nenene itwa bandu betu bangana chinga na maduka itwa baberekera iba basomesha esha sende esha batule rikolachi eritruha abandu bakindishe tu hemisolo kusanga babere kolachi ibabere minya masinja kutsevu.
I have also another just additional point on the same note, that the other right way of reaching the community members is by using the local leaders, the LOC ones. These people always have platforms at every function. If they are sensitized, if they are told, and they understand what you are about, what you are saying, they will always speak about it wherever they get a chance. Bamakolesha ba LOCs okovole mobile ibakende barabandu bwanu kubere bitie and information will reach. Thank you.
I'm only thanking you all for this baraza, and I'm again saying that we in Mpondwe women cross-border traders, we have been doing this, making sure that we achieve the collection of this taxi. So we have been assisting, sensitizing the groups that we meet in our office there. So we have been doing this, and we shall make sure that the target that we want for revenue collections must be achieved. Mine was just a request that one time we found expired, we found expired like cosmetics items being dumped down there, Rusese, in our Kasasiro. So now my request is, if dumping our expired items, we should make sure that we see whether we are just powering, because people go and collect them again and take them back to their shops. So it is just my request that we should be seeing or find out where to be dumping these expired things. So it is what I only wanted to pass through, to give out. Yeah.
Nze okusooka njogeranga ffe aba cross border twagalamu okusomesebwa bassebo mu mirimu y'obizinensi okusuubula kubanga tugenda ne tuyingira mu bizinensi abamu ng'okusomesebwa kutono naye olw'okuba nti bizinensi ffe eyaffe wano ey'oku nsalo buli asanga yakolaki yayingiramu tubasaba mujje mubeere nga mututuukako mu ofiisi yaffe eno nga mutusomesaamu tusobole okutegeera ku bimu.
Munyana Joseph, I'm a clearing agent at Mpondwe, working with Robson Investment. I have a few queries I would wish the Western manager to clarify for me and give me solutions on how we can be, or on how they can be rectified. There are instances, especially when it comes to goods smuggled. Those goods sometimes you find out that they have entered the market, but already in the market, there are other goods that have already paid taxes. And Customs has put in place soldiers, let me say enforcement departments, along areas, even in the market entrances. Enforcement departments have representatives there. But you find a challenge that the enforcement department will leave the entrance and join the market to check which goods have not paid taxes. What was the purpose of them at the entrance? If they were put at the porous border points, how will you differentiate a farmer who collected goods from Congo, from his garden, or from a neighborhood, or a friend, or a relative, from those goods that are from the market or from the shop? How will you determine that these goods have not paid taxes or these goods are for sale? Give us solutions on how we can do that or how we can handle that. The rest, I hope we shall resolve other issues. Then there is another issue which I would request. If there are to be put surveillance people along those areas, engage local members, those who can identify who is the farmer, who has a relative on the other side, who went there for business purposes, and who went there for farming. Thank you.
Odorato munabira wasinja na imasinja erinyikiriria erimana hano amena ninjebira Margaret omwachitongole chetu cha Women Cross Border Traders nga kolamu nga publicity nja nga bulaya kandi ngane musava eyise esamaki na mwasi yahika hano omukene engetse yabarachengwa ambo mukene alekere sohwa kandi ofisi yetu ni abantu bahese tole bahese tukimanira abantu bahese alererio esaheno omukene setu kibanawo ambo engetse yechingirwe banga bulaya omu abakulu bano yoyo abalyo kwashangetse baba bana hano banga bulaya itwechelikire batuchingira ngitwe abantu bahese nichi tukabona bana bomukamo tukabona bona banga abakulu batusoborere echelikiro mukene nyachingwa nga nichi kandi samaki iye namwasa iye hika hano namashali njebere Margaret Chipa.
According to our discussions around here, I have realized that there is a lot of money being collected here, but the community is not feeling the impact of that money. So I was just requesting that Uganda Revenue Authority should borrow a reef from other companies like Hima Cement Factory and the Uganda Wildlife Authority, because these organizations, they are bringing back part of the money to the community by selecting public places, for example, schools and other institutions, by constructing some simple latrines and others like providing water harvesting tanks to these people in the community. And by doing that, these local people, they are seeing the value of those institutions. Thank you.
Abachara bato bakasi bano ku migration yabo.
Yeah, women in the business, is it cross-border business?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mwasinjeri asa.
You are all welcome.
Ekikulu kutsibu ekiri atuleta hanu mubaka wambo twase tulebeko tukakolongana nabe revenue ebitsibu byatukaba banamu neto yabakatu banamu.
The reason why they are here, they were called to come and interact with URA management and government management to share the pain and the challenges they go through when they are doing their businesses.
Tunemulabangana kwandeke kene nabe. Sito ndipo tutisiwanga kwa machebu echibi chowabwe no mwachindu kanibu echibuya.
Their benefits and the challenges they get through while they go through while they are doing their businesses. There are good things and there are bad things they have.
Eche ndichirumba tusomesha hano mbu itweria tukatuma abandu eyiye ikabya abandu ebikere na wabiri asana kandu kawo enakubura letanga akutwalereko echimuba tuwani acho ambu wangana hikayo obundi wabakukiro buliye ukiwabereralera eba nakutiro kwa beyi eyebindu byawo echimutwe chowa.
For the first time when they were called here, they were told that it's not good to delegate your business to someone else. Sometimes it is good to go yourself and declare your goods. Sometimes you send someone and maybe falsely declares other things.
Mwabandu mutwe chiriye. Hama baneka bakasi bakambuto kwatuke mu revenue. Hakere so masangana kwa meza ko mundu nekuhinira. Iwe bula ku kendi ibu wa mukekulu iwe koboba.
Another challenge which they got through that, there are sometimes when they reach a revenue office and the revenue officers, they become rude to them. And sometimes they even fail to explain themselves what has brought them.
Aho twana matendera ho malaba ko revenue ba malaba kwa baberegana nabo baneyo.
In doing so, there are those who persisted and they still use the URA procedures, and those who have adamantly refused, they are also there, they have refused.
Tukalaba mwachiso chise tulegana eyametse kitusene ngasene seyimbula ikibye yikawam mukendo abandu balanga batano ababeresenda tukalaba yino hendo henga.
Yeah, due to that, due to those situations, there are people who always pass through the porous borders because of fearing revenue and maybe fearing taxes. And like in this rainy season, very soon you will hear some people declared dead passing through the waters and maybe waters has taken them.
Example, akatenge. Tenge heno heru mutisondoli. Kongo kaka ula mtu alumu mana nembendi. Kaseso yeka ula mtu alumu mana kasanju. Nebe trano. Ukabuka ikano bakubura mbu enanga omusolo wako siringi kanani. Na ukayoba ko shengu mibiri nebe trano. Bwe chikere kutala bomolusi nichi.
For example, for instance, there are these fabrics, which comes from Congo. I'm sorry, what's that?
Kanan.
The tax levied on that piece is they buy it at 15,000. Then the taxes levied is 8,000.
Kena twabiri yakaulie kasese mu mana kasanju na betrano.
And when it is on the market in Kasese, it is 17,500. So you find that the profit is only 2,000. Why can't you pass through the porous to make that kanana on top of the profit? Yeah.
Amauta ukala trau swendile viria wahande akabidwa kake kesheliti ta 10 na kuamba ukasasorere. Na robaka lukala ngara babiri alabere no meza na bwana kabidwa kake aka ereta kasasorere na tomuna ilabero mama gets.
You find that there is this palm oil. You find there is this 5-liter jerrycan. When a woman brings it from Congo to Uganda, it's also imposed on taxes. The taxes are imposed on that. So you find that maybe they are forced to pass through the porous borders because of fearing even a 5-liter jerrycan to be paying taxes, and yet maybe it is for consumable purposes or domestic use.
Echibido cha mauta tuota kwa mtu aloyi owa maoba na rosa sorra chibido cha siringe kanana neryo waba okwakibiduko kw'esyangumyesi ibiri.
There is that 20-liter jerrycan. They have only a profit of 10,000. But we find that when the tax is imposed on that, it is 8,000. So you find that there is only a profit of 2,000, which is also a pain to them.
Neryo ngasima kutsibu omusyakulu ono nomukekulolya babirithuha eofisi. Neryo ngasi eofisi eyo ngokuba mabitsukirwa mbu bakya bakathutheka omwa misomo banamundya bakahika babirithuha eofisi tukasima kutsibu mwasinja kutsibu nebitumbi binemwaliwa nibike tukikala hesi tukasaba mumenye muleba yeyi.
Thanks to Mr. Edwin and Madam Barbara. They have given them offices. They have given them an office or area where they reach when they are declaring their goods. But still, the seats are very few. And they are still demanding for more seats because they are ready to do what? To declare their taxes.
Neryo ngokumabira muthekwa buli meziani mukya mukasathuha emisomo ngasi banamundya bakathuhika kweyi ithwababwira bitsibu byathuwithe kundi thuli banene mubakabirekera bandu 10 alwa thuna bandu hakuya basubirya bakikala mu office y'abandu ngabe 12. Neryo nganasi bakya ngakumabithuha meziani nene nabo mwa meziani ayi bakima tukasayika hanu iba mabithuhika kuba thubulya court mwamalabangana kwa thwamalabangana kunenyu truth nethu nemo babwira ebyethu nabo bathubwira byabo.
Thank you for committing yourselves that every 4 months you'll be carrying out this tax education and sensitization. But however, there are still many people or business women who are in this thing. So they hope that next time when there are 4 months elapsing, you still have gone to them and maybe shared the experience of how they are doing businesses and the pain they go through. So they thank you for that.
Neryo thwamasima kutsibu basinja rithubirekera alwa irikibyendeko eyikunzerera.
Yeah, they are asking that let it not be this one, let it not be the last engagement. They hope for more engagements as time goes on. Thank you very much.
Mwasinja aramborekerera bakyara na bamama na meya baba tauni kilaka wetu tata wasinja ribu kasatulirako makatale mukabyo tundu twalangiriwe biri hikako ukasatumulikania tukakusima kwecho wasinja kutsibu.
More thanks goes to the mayor and the town clerk. Whenever there are issues, they are the first to reach them and see how they are solved.
Good afternoon, everyone. Na ingendi kanyuma konzo kake na ingendi basima ngatukeri baramuchande mwamasibabu holunyobosi masinja eriasa narihulekerera ngasima bose ababitukanirya nababitusomesya twamabere ya kinene neryo mutukandika ka brief report as women cross border traders. Aka brief report ketu kakaenda kati inje okwamena ni birungi Agnes, Secretary Mpondwe Business Women Cross Border Traders. Eyekalwahu ni chairperson wayi. Mpondwe Women Cross Border Traders Group, Lower Customs, Mpondwe Lubiria Town Council. The Uganda Revenue Authority Mpondwe Border, Migration Mpondwe Border, BISO Mpondwe Border, members present, protocol observed. A brief report. On behalf of all Mpondwe Women Cross-Border Traders Group, and on my own behalf, I take this honor to welcome you all to this meeting in Baraza. First and foremost, I thank the one who organized this meeting and have recognized us and invited us to attend the same. Ever since we were given the office, this is the first meeting and the first workshop we have with URA. That's why we thank the URA to have invited us to this meeting. I again thank the government of Uganda to have set up this structure where URA allocated us a room for office with equipments. We thank the government of Uganda to have authorized the shift of our market from Congo to Uganda on the same days as before. Again, we thank the government to have brought PDM as a program to benefit women achievements. ngende nga kasomali olwe nga nimukatwa. We as Mpondwe Women Cross Border, we play our role by using our office, which was given to us by URA. We are caring for our children and husbands through trading in various businesses. We can now use formal gazetted routes where when we cross the border, which is a big achievement. Challenges. As we are here at URA as an office for all women cross-border, we are not recognized up here because there are other offices down there formed. They are set up in the market for the same program. So here we are not recognized. This office here is not recognized because we are hearing there are other offices set up down. There are other offices the second challenge, there are other officers who pretend to be URA officers who torture women carrying palm oil to the market after paying at URA.
Briefly, as we were discussing, some of you actually highlighted or preempted some of our focus areas this financial year. Among those is, on top of mobilizing revenue, is collaboration with stakeholders. So this is one of them, and we expect to have more of this, whereby we collaborate, we meet, engage, to foster a way of collaborating in this particular drive of revenue mobilization. We equally have the tax education sessions and enforcement measures. Okay, then we had someone asking about taxes being high and compelling people to look for alternatives as opposed to coming through the rightful channels. Well, yes, it is true that in some aspects people may actually think that the taxes are high, but I wanted to bring before you that these taxes are researched. Before something is put out in the public domain, it means they research. And in doing research, they look at different areas. I'll give a case in point. Chitenji, the area of Chitenji is the borders.